For the past several years, I've been publishing YouTube videos talking about various aspects of business insurance, and it's produced a lot of phone calls and connections with business owners across the US. So I've seen hundreds of policies and have some insights into policy pricing from direct sellers and from other agents like myself. Hi, I'm Coyle. Welcome back to my channel, where we talk about the risk and insurance issues on the minds of business owners. As an expert commercial insurance broker, I'm here to offer my advice to help you be a more informed decision maker when it comes to your business insurance. In this video, I'm going to tackle the question, is it cheaper to buy business insurance online versus using an agent or a broker? To dig into this, I think it makes sense to talk about the three main distribution systems when it comes to the insurance industry. First, when we talk about online direct sellers, we're talking about big name insurance companies like Geico, Hartford, Allstate, as well as digital insurance brokers and insuretech firms which will use technology to sell directly online, and they include companies like Next, Hiscox, biberk, and Insureon. The second distribution system for insurance is often called the captive insurance companies, and this is where agents can be employees of the insurance company and only sell those companies' policies, and they include firms like State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers. The third distribution system is the oldest as well as the largest in the industry, and it's independent agents and brokers. These are firms that are owned by entrepreneurs that own their book of business and represent multiple insurance companies like Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Chubb, and many others. Now, you may have seen some names mentioned more than once in these distribution systems like Hartford. You can buy a policy directly from them, or you can buy the same thing from one of their agents like me. Same with Allstate. So, which system is the cheapest? Which is the best? I'm going to answer that in just a minute, but I think it's important to dispel a myth about going direct is always going to be cheaper. Advertising over the years has sort of said that if you cut out the middlemen, you save money. The reason I call this a myth is that if you buy a policy directly from an insurance company or an insuretech firm, these companies still have overhead costs that need to be paid. So let's look at the four main cost components in insurance distribution. There's sales and marketing, servicing of the policies you sell, paying claims, as well as general overhead. If an insurer sells you a policy directly, they will incur all four of these cost components. Some digital brokers and insuretechs will claim that by using technology, they have reduced general overhead and employee headcount and passed the savings on to customers. But to some degree, they still have costs associated with all four components. If an insurer sells a policy through an agent or broker, they have lower costs associated with sales, marketing, and policy servicing, as those tasks are handled by brokers and agents like me who are paid a commission for doing those tasks. The same is mostly true for captive insurers. With captives like Allstate or State Farm, the insurance company spends more on marketing and branding than the other two distribution systems, but they still have all four costs. So let's go back to the question of which is cheapest and best. There's sort of a fork in this road that I think we need to talk about, and that is best and cheapest aren't the same thing. I started this video by asking which is cheaper, going direct or buying from an agent, and maybe it's a good time to also admit that I have a built-in bias to this discussion. I mean, after all, I am an insurance broker, so I do view this through that lens. For the moment, let's focus on cheaper. I have reviewed hundreds of insurance policies from direct insurance companies, insuretech companies, captive insurers, and from other independent agent insurers. I can say that companies like Next will often be cheaper than what an independent agent or captive will sell. On the other hand, companies like Hartford, which sells direct and through agents, the price will be the same through either channel. A company like Geico doesn't really sell business insurance themselves in many states, and they act as a broker most of the time for many policies, so that's a hard one to really evaluate. So let's turn the tables and talk about which is best or which channel is better. To start this part of the conversation, I think it's important to understand who the actual people are you're dealing with in each of these three channels. If you're buying direct, you're often not dealing with a person. You're filling in forms online, and you are the insurance expert to determine your coverages, limits, endorsements, and options. That may not be ideal. If you do speak with a person, it's likely going to be someone in a call center that may have enough knowledge so they can get their insurance license. They're an employee in a big company that punches the clock 9 to 5. If you're buying from an independent agent or broker like me, you're typically going to speak to an expert. Typically, agents and brokers are entrepreneurs and small business owners that have a team of experienced professionals to help you at the point of sale as well as down the road. They build value based on relationships because they get paid a commission each year to handle your business. So keeping your business and your relationship is very important to them. If you're buying from a captive, you may be getting an experience somewhere in the middle of an independent agent or broker and direct. In my experience, most captive agents are very familiar with home and auto insurance and not so much on business insurance. Now, I want to talk about situations that I'm hearing a lot about from my prospects who are calling me every day with problems or questions. The number one frustration I hear is that no one is getting back to them, and when they do speak to someone, the results are really not satisfactory, meaning there's still unanswered questions or problems that aren't resolved. Fundamentally, you buy insurance to protect your business from the unknown. You're buying peace of mind. If you have a problem or an issue that goes unresolved, what happens to that peace of mind? Well, it diminishes. And what I'm hearing is that not only do insureds lose faith and confidence in the insurer, they're also very frustrated. The most common complaints I'm hearing about are from direct insurers and digital brokers like Next, Simply Business, Insureon, Tivoli, and Progressive, to name just a few. So where does that leave us? When it comes to cheapest, I really don't think direct wins this game. We've successfully competed with direct markets and delivered a better product at a better price. And when you combine the expertise and service aspects we're talking about, our offering really shines. Yes, there will be circumstances that a company like Hiscox does an E&O policy for $500 and our minimum premium is $2,500. But that's a bit of an anomaly. How about against direct writers? How do we stack up? Here, it's going to depend on the line of business. Geico and Progressive may be particularly aggressive on some business auto policies, but other times we beat them as well. Allstate and State Farm seem to be pretty limited in their offering on business insurance, and when we compete against them, we've beaten them pretty well hands down. I think the bottom line to the pricing question of who's the cheapest can't be answered in a blanket fashion for two main reasons. First is cheapest the right way you want to buy business insurance? As I mentioned, your business may be your biggest asset, so does it make sense to you to use the lowest cost or cheapest provider and have a question mark in the back of your mind that it's right or capable of performing when it's going to be needed most? And second, no one provider is going to be the lowest cost all of the time. There are just too many factors like the line of business we're talking about, location, size of company, state, and others that it's going to be cheapest all the time. We're going to perform well on price most of the time, I can say that. But there will be situations where I say, look, XYZ provider is a better deal, and I'll tell you that. So where does that leave us? I think the final decision rests with the buyer and the buyer persona, if you will. If getting the absolute cheapest policy on the street without regard to quality, then we're not the right choice. No offense, I get it. If all you need to do is check a box that you got insurance and you don't care if it's right, I'll be frank and say, go to an online seller with little or no human interaction. That's going to be your best and cheapest source. But if you do care and you want value in your purchase while getting a good deal, then the Coyle Group and other insurance agents and brokers, independent agents and brokers, are probably your best bet too. Hey, if you've made it this far in this long video, I appreciate it. So I'll wrap it up and say, thanks for watching. If you're looking for business insurance or you have a question that I didn't answer here, let's connect. My contact info is in the description box below, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.